Since 2020, Apple has awarded over $35 million to more than 800 researchers. But across the industry, the ratio of valid to invalid submissions is dropping. Sophos reports that out of 7,000 submissions to its program, only 1,300 were valid security bugs. Triage queues are now clogging with AI-assisted research. This surge in volume threatens to break the manual review process. This shift in research volume is identified by Sophos as the Mythos era. It is characterized by a split in vulnerability discovery. Automation generates massive quantities of speculative noise, while models like Claude Mythos discover high-severity 0 days at machine speed. Human triage teams are buried navigating the spectrum, exactly when automated exploits require a response cycle measured in hours. To maintain security, organizations are moving toward programmatic validation. This requires researchers to submit functional code and complete exploit chains rather than theoretical findings. Apple and other major platforms are adapting their reward structures to match this. They're prioritizing hardware-level defenses like memory integrity enforcement and rewarding only the research that can bypass them. Operating a bug bounty as a standalone inbox has become an engineering liability. Effective programs now function as automated extensions of the internal security pipeline. Apple's recent update to its security bounty doubled its top award to $2 million. This maximum reward applies strictly to exploit chains that achieve unauthorized iCloud access or achieve similar results as sophisticated mercenary spyware. Architectural improvements like lockdown mode and upgraded Safari security make it nearly impossible for a single vulnerability to compromise a device. Isolated bugs are effectively neutralized by these defensive layers. Researchers must bridge multiple distinct security boundaries to demonstrate a real-world threat, linking individual vulnerabilities into a functional chain. For example, a WebKit code execution payout is significantly lower unless chained with a sandbox escape and a secure page table monitor bypass. This requirement moves the labor of weaponization and proof onto the researcher. The program only pays for a proven outcome, regardless of the complexity involved. By mandating complete chains, these programs filter out theoretical noise. They ensure that financial rewards are reserved for proven, systemic threat models. High submission volumes create an operational bottleneck. Human engineers cannot reproduce and validate every automated report before an adversary weaponizes the underlying flaw. Apple's solution is the Target Flags framework, a system built into its operating systems for validation. A researcher proves exploitability by capturing a flag built into the software. The successful extraction of this flag provides objective proof of the exploit's capability. These flags correlate to specific outcomes. Capturing one proves arbitrary access, while another confirms executing unauthorized code. Because Apple programmatically verifies these flags, the system determines the reward amount immediately upon submission. Researchers who capture a flag receive award notifications as soon as the system validates the capture, often before a human developer reviews the code or starts work on a fix. This programmatic approach replaces subjective severity debates and allows the triage queue to scale with the volume of modern research. In decentralized finance, where direct financial loss is measured in seconds, the standard for proof is much more rigorous. On the Immunify platform, theoretical bugs are rejected. Researchers must submit a runnable proof of concept. Once verified, the reward is calculated based on the primacy of impact, often 10% of direct funds at risk, capping at $3 million. Evaluators also consider feasibility limitations. They assess if the attack is realistic in the real world, accounting for the financial risk an attacker takes or the time required to execute the exploit. These feasibility gates ensure that triage resources are not wasted on automated theoretical spam that has no viable path to execution. Decentralized platforms like the Threshold Network use these strict proof requirements to secure autonomous smart contracts. In these environments, a vulnerability report's value is tied directly to its undeniable programmatic exploitability. Public bounty programs operate on a presumption of good faith, but this creates a specific vulnerability when dealing with advanced persistent threats. State-sponsored actors may probe these programs to test their own exploits, gather intelligence, or attempt to monetize a 0-day they have already used. In the Sophos Personal Panda incident, a 0-day was exploited in the wild. Shortly after, a researcher, supposedly in Japan, submitted the identical vulnerability. Sophos later identified the exploitation's epicenter as Chengdu, China, matching the bounty submission's true IP geolocation. This indicates a dynamic where an adversary exploits a flaw for geopolitical gain and then attempts to collect a bounty payment for disclosing it. To prevent these payments from reaching sanctioned actors, programs like Immunify now require strict Know Your Customer documentation and OFAC screening for all payouts. Security teams are also integrating bounty telemetry with their own threat hunting. They look for the researcher's activity within their own network logs to spot potential adversarial probes. Because bounty programs involve both trust and money, they attract nation-state interest. Defending them requires building adversarial guardrails directly into the program's design. The window between vulnerability discovery and weaponization is now measured in hours. Defending this window requires high proof thresholds, automated verification of code, and the use of honey tokens to identify automated submission spam. Using AI to hunt for bugs in your own source code is now a requirement to stay ahead of researchers using the same tools from the outside. This is the architecture of an AI-resilient bounty program. It uses automated replay environments and target flag nodes to validate exploits in a continuous, closed loop. This programmatic feedback loop integrates the researcher directly into the internal development cycle. Programs that maintain manual, slow-moving review processes risk being overwhelmed by low-quality data while failing to catch critical machine-generated 0 days. This architecture converts the bug bounty from a public-facing PR channel into a programmatic layer of the organization's core security engineering.